Okay, I am back. It's 2019. The world somehow has not ended yet. It seems determined to do so, sometime in the coming few years, but we still have a little while left while we can still play card games for fun on the internet. So let's do that while we can. I'm going to start off today with a little brief discussion of the Sea of Blood agenda, which, in my opinion, is probably the likely to be most impactful card to come from the Greyjoy expansion box, which was released while I was on a break over the holidays and not playing the game. Just going to share my thoughts on it a little bit, and then go into a little bit of my plan for the channel over the coming month, and then we'll get into a game. So when I saw this agenda to start with, I was concerned that this would basically be a better free folk agenda, that it would be too powerful, too snowbally, and too easy to win the game on turn one with it. I do still have that concern to an extent, but I have to actually play with and against this agenda a good amount of times before I can really come to that conclusion. I will say my very first game today when I fired up the Iron Throne again was against a free folk opponent, and they had me at one character left and 0 cards in hand at the end of the first turn. And that was after I'm playing Greyjoy, and I started with 2 Risen from the Sea in my hand and 2 Iron Island Fishmongers to use for military claim soak. So it's good to know that that's still a thing, but we're not going to go too much into a rant about that. The thing with Sea of Blood is it's more robust than Free Folk, or it should be in theory, because you can just play the typical good stuff of your house. Like you can play saves and stuff that draws cards and like the big good characters and all the standard things of your house that allows you to have more sustainability over a long game and still have this snowball potential with your agenda where you just wipe out the opponent's cards out of the game. And this makes it, apart from Free Folk, which is very fragile, which, as I just gave an anecdote of, can immediately win the game on turn one by killing everything, but is very swingy in the sense that if they don't have a very strong start, or if they get hit with a reset at a bad time for them, they can also very quickly get behind and lose the game completely. Sea of Blood should be more robust against that, I think. The second strength of this agenda is that it has a better counterplay, I think, against the type of slow control decks that used to be around, which were basically preventing aggro decks from being played for a while. Basically, when Martell Wars to Come was the most dominant deck, what you would often see is if you play against that deck, they just set up Dorn and like more locations and chumps, and they play no characters that matter for 3 or 4 turns straight, and then they play 15 resets and you lose. And they are able to do that because they start with Dorn, so they have infinite cards. Well, you cannot really do that to a Sea of Blood deck without some type of additional plan, because they will just use Put to the Torch on your Dorn, and then you lose the game. So I think that is another way that it may be stronger than the Free Folk. Although those type of decks seem to have fallen off in general before this Greyjoy box even dropped. I guess the game just became too fast for them, so to speak. So I guess that part of it doesn't really matter at the moment, but could be relevant. Who knows? Basically, it seems more flexible than Free Folk, and seems like it has a better chance against the types of decks that Free Folk would have a very bad matchup against, which is the attrition decks, or the Targ decks, or whatever. So we will see whether or not this is actually overpowered. Looking at this agenda again, something which I am reminded of, which I was not really that aware of until now, is that you have to win the challenge by 5 to even get the blood token and the event search. I thought if you just win a military challenge at all, then you could do the blood token and the event search, and that would have made it considerably stronger. So maybe it is not too consistent to be able to do this with this agenda. I do expect that a lot of games against this agenda, they will have the potential to snowball very quickly if they can get that military win by 5 on the first turn, or maybe like the second turn. We'll see how it plays out. I do think that the agenda is probably going to be pretty powerful and dominant, because the downside is just not very much. Like, oh, you can't play events during Intrigue or Power. Does that really matter? Not really. Like, if I'm playing this with Lannister, for instance, I'm just going to replace my treacheries with Put to the Sword. And did I really lose anything? No, it's not a big deal to not be able to play treachery when I have the ability to search my deck for 1 or 0 gold put to the sword instead. So yeah, those are some general thoughts on this agenda. One thing that's encouraging is I look on the Iron Throne today, and this agenda is not everywhere. You can see it. There's one game here, one game here. Scroll down some more, another one. So it's around. It's definitely being played. But you can see there's still a respectable number of games that do not have the Sea of Blood agenda present in them at all. And that's encouraging to me that it's not something you're going to have to face constantly. That way, even if I don't like it and I think it's dumb, I won't necessarily have to play against it, which is very encouraging. So the deck for today, I guess first I'll talk about the types of decks that I'm going to play for this month. I do want to test out this agenda very thoroughly. I really want to get a good handle on how good it is and basically what are its strengths and weaknesses, what are the matchups and all the rest of it. So I am just going to go ahead and probably try to make a Sea of Blood deck for every agenda to play with over the coming month, because I think you probably can play this agenda and, you know, basically have a reason to play it. It's not like Assault from the Shadows, which I think has factions where it just doesn't work as an agenda. I think this can work in every faction. So I will be trying it out of every faction. Then I will also be playing some games with with new Greyjoy decks, with new cards from the box once per week as well, to see like updated versions of Greyjoy decks that now are going to look a little bit different with these new cards that we got. And one of those is the deck that I'm going to play for today. This one is the Greyjoy Wars to Come, which I have played this deck before. I updated it with a bunch of new cards, and we're just going to see how it does. I think this is still a very strong and robust deck that can definitely win some games. I think Greyjoy is, if not the strongest faction at the moment. They're definitely up there. They were already doing quite well before this box, and now they just seem quite powerful in general. So this is sort of a generic good Greyjoy cards deck. And then the other 3 Greyjoy decks that I plan on playing are Warships, Pillage, and Drowned God. And I will figure those out and play those as well. This is similar to my Wars to Come Greyjoy deck that I played on the channel previously. I have King's Landing and a lot of the typical stuff, but I have now added in a Warships package with the new Victarion. Since playing that first version of the deck, I've come to decide that this card is very good and very strong and probably worth playing over the 6-cost Victarion. And the Warship theme in general, especially with the new Euron Crow's Eye, has now become powerful enough to easily justify putting this in as probably a standard part of a Greyjoy deck that you can't really go wrong with. So we've got the 1 copy of Silence that we get with the new Euron, who is probably... I guess I shouldn't say probably, but I think he is at least in the top 3 best or most powerful cards from the Greyjoy box. I do not know how much he will increase the power of Greyjoy overall because of the opportunity cost of not having the core set Euron. You're just replacing one very powerful character with another very powerful character, but this dude is still pretty damn good. 6-cost character that gets 10 gold worth of cards into play. He's 3 icons with Intimidate and a self-stand ability with his 4-cost location. It's 4 costs, so it's immune to Frozen Solid and things like that. Just a pretty strong, nutty card, and very possibly better than the core set version. We'll see about that. Anyways, then we've got the Sea Bitches with King's Landing, the Refurbished Hulks, 1 Great Kraken, and yeah, that's about all I really had room for. You definitely could put some more warships in here and go more warship heavy, but I think this is sort of the most lean and efficient version while still doing some work that I was able to come up with. Then we've got more new cards. Andric, typical good card. The Drum, the Knight, they seem pretty good. Carl the Maid is nice because you can stand Asha or you can stand a warship. And looking at this, I don't think I even have any kneeling warships. You can stand Silence. I guess that's pretty good. But you can also stand your warships just so that you can use Victarion again by then kneeling the warship again. So Carl is pretty good, and obviously super good when you have Asha on the board. The big 7-cost Asha, the big girl there. We've got the new Balon. I like this card. I'm not sure if he's better than using the King version and King of the North, but I don't like King of the North. It's boring and lame, and this card is more fun, so I'm playing this card, and I think it's a pretty good card. This says errata from FAQ 2.0. I wonder what they changed. I can't remember. Anyways, yeah, we've got Raiding the Bay of Ice. That's pretty good. Goes with these. I think that's about all that there is to really say. We have the new plot, We Take Westeros. This is a very nice plot to have. I have the first Snow of Winter in this deck, and I was looking at the deck, and I think this is a very good first Snow deck. Very few characters in the deck are affected by the first Snow of Winter. Extremely few. And then you have like the Eager Deckhand, which is a funny combo because she can then come back into play if you use Silence after the first Snow of Winter is triggered. I thought that was funny, and so I would try to do that. Originally, I did not have this card. I kind of dumped on it in my box review, and I still think it's not great. I ended up putting it in over, I think, Lordsport Shipwright, because what I realized is I'm using 2 Force March, but I did not actually have like hardly any chumps with military icons to use with the Force March. So I have to revise my opinion. That is a reason to run this card. The other options are Raider from Pike, so that you can do the Pinch of Powder thing. That's dumb, so we're not doing that. And Stony Shore Raider, which is a good card, but I think that this is... I prefer this at the moment because it can cost 0, and I do think that the tempo advantage of paying 0 instead of having to pay 2 at minimum and more than 2 just to get the location Neal out of the Stony Shore Raider, I think this card is a little bit better at the moment. The Stony Shore Raider may be better in a slower or more control-oriented meta, but I don't think that's where we are right now. So, yeah, I think that's just about covers all of it. And my plots here, pretty typical stuff. We'll see if Summer Harvest is good or not. I think Peace and Prosperity could also be an opening plot, but there's no attachments, so I was like, whatever, I'll just do Summer Harvest. If I get screwed over by this a few times, then I'll probably go back to Peace and Prosperity. You still have multiple locations that cost 2 or more, and a bunch that at least cost 1, so Peace and Prosperity should still be pretty efficient. Alright, let's go into a game. This guy is playing Baratheon Sea of Blood there in that first game. That is a brave boy right there. Baratheon Sea of Blood, of course a deck that I have already built and will be playing. Probably the worst Sea of Blood deck just because it's Baratheon, but there's still obviously some reasons to use it. Oh great, another Wars to Come. Well, that's unfortunate. Let's see what happens here. So I can start with the Refurbished Hulk and a triple duplicated Euron Crow's Eye. Okay. But that cancels, then you don't get the ability if you do that, so that's not great. Yeah, I don't really like this. I'm going to mulligan. I'm not sure if this is better, but I don't think it's unreasonable. Yeah, this is pretty good. So we probably want this. Then I could do, what, like King's Landing. Might not want King's Landing in play on the first turn, because it's not probably going to do very much on the first turn. We could get Theon. We could get the Drum. I don't know. I guess the best way to spend all the gold that doesn't include King's Landing is to do this and just put this in Shadows. That might be wrong, but we did it. He's got the new Asha. That's ballsy. And he's got the King attachment. I don't like that. Oh, I hate the King in the North. So if he starts with the King in the North, I can just do Nothing Burns right away and stop that. I don't know if that's going to be worth it. I think I'm going to do Summer Harvest, and then I can do Nothing Burns next turn. I'm going to try that. Ah, look at that, double Summer Harvest. That's fine, I guess. Smiley face indeed. Well, we both have Claim Soak. I have 1 save. I've got Economy, that's very good. And I can get Theon out to do a military. So that's nice. Could also... No, I'm not going to have enough gold for the Marauders. He probably won't have a discard for them anyways. Maester Muir, okay. So he can cancel my Great Hall with that. Let's see if he does it. I would think that he's going to cancel it. Yeah. So if I do Great Hall again, doesn't get me anything, so I should probably do this. And the only way to marshal another character is to do this. Is he gonna... Yeah, he's gonna cancel that, of course. So no more characters for me. That's sad. That does upset me because I don't have any way to spend my gold now, and that's pretty unfortunate. But if he just cancels everything, what can you do? I guess he got me. And surely he has, we do not sow. He's guaranteed he has that, yeah. I might should have used the Risen there only because I'm over reserve, but I think it's fine. Obviously, he's way ahead on board on the first turn, so it's worth saving the Risen from the Sea. Probably I will have to use Valar Morghulis at some point. Got the big Victarion, that's very good. I think I will discard Great Kraken. It's pretty useless when I'm this far behind. We're going to do Nothing Burns. Let's see if he does the King plot. What is that? Oh, he stole my freaking location, of course. Of course he would do that. Should have known that would happen. Okay, so now we have to do Valar Morghulis, and if he has any Risen from the Sea, we lose the game. So there's like 90% chance that we lose the game at this point. But we can still try. I can marshal Asha. So I think that's what I have to try to do, right? Yeah, the plan is to marshal Asha, and then... What is this? Oh, well, I guess I have to cancel that. And then we're going to hope that he doesn't have Risen from the Sea. And we, even if he has no Risen from the Sea and his dudes all die, we still probably lose the game. But we do have a chance then. If there is a Risen from the Sea, there's no chance. Do I defend this? No, there's really no point. How does she have stealth? Each other unique gains stealth, but oh, she just has stealth by herself. I forgot about that. Wow. He got silence. Okay, well, we don't have to keep playing. It's over. That's unfortunate, but what can you do? What can you do? There's absolutely nothing you can do about that. This is interesting because it shows the strength of the Greyjoy Wars to come because our opponent was playing it, not because of us. That was way too much. Oh well. I guess that was the video. I mean, that was a lame game. I don't like how one-sided that was. I'm going to try to get another one. That was too one-sided. Does show off the strength of the Greyjoy Wars to come deck. Wow, another one. Well, that's not what I like to see. That's frustrating because I was playing earlier today and I was not getting anything like this. Well, I guess it's not Sea of Blood at least. If this one sucks too, then I mean, I'm probably not going to try a third time unless it's like really fast. I don't know. If I lose really badly again, I'll just accept defeat for the day. That's what I'm trying to say. At least I got a better setup this time. Will it be a good enough setup? Probably not, but we'll see what happens. If I do, I can do 2, 1, 1. I really want to set up the refurbished Hulk, but it just doesn't work. Let's start with Victarion and the Fishmonger. Because there's no good way to spend all of the gold. Yeah, I don't want to start with this guy in play. Having the Fanatic in your hand to cancel the opponent's character is way too important. I guess I'm going to try Summer Harvest again. Okay, that worked out. Now, do I go first? What is the advantage to going first? Not really any advantage to going first, I don't think. So I'll make him first player. This is a mistake if he has the Euron Crow's Eye that has Intimidate. Let's see if he has it. Iron Island's Market and Scouting Vessel, so I guess it is a... and Corpse Lake, so definitely a pillage deck. That's interesting. So he did have Euron Crow's Eye, but it's not the Intimidate. I really want to Martial Silence, only so that he cannot get the Silence with Intrigue and then put it into play on his side. I know that if it's in my hand, even if the odds for him to get it with the Intrigue claim is only like 1 in 8, he'll still get it, because that's my luck. So I'm going to try to see if I can Marshal that. Yeah, Balon's not that great yet, so let's just do it. Then we cannot afford the Knight, so that may... oh, we can if we kneel this guy. Is that worth it? Maybe, but probably not, because we could instead just Marshal like Sea Bitch and Refurbish Hulk. Refurbish Hulk lets me use Victarion again. I have gold for We Do Not Sow. I think this is better. Yeah, I think this is better. Then I can kill this guy with the Drown God Fanatic. Oh yeah, thank goodness I have this, so I can cancel the Euron location steal anyways. Marshalling all my locations protects them from the Euron intrigue. I really like that. Oh, of course. He has Raiding the Bay of Ice. But, does he have another Drown God Fanatic? Oh, he got the Drown God Fanatic with the Intrigue claim. Of course. Of course he would do that. That was guaranteed to happen. Well, that's really fun and interactive gameplay. Well, I have We Do Not Sow, so hopefully we can get rid of this. And we can prevent it from doing its thing. Thank you, Victarion. You saved us. I guess I could sea bitch the scouting vessel away from him, but I don't want to do that unless I can actually use it with my pillage, so I probably won't do that. Do I need to defend this? I might as well, because he can stand back up anyways. So what we're going to do here, I guess this is sort of dank, is we're going to discard the silence back into our discard pile. And now next turn I'm going to do, where is it? We take Westeros, and I did not realize, I thought it had to be the opponent, but you can use it on your own discard too. So we're going to get this back into play under our control to protect it from being stolen. As you can see here, this new Victarion already on the first turn doing a large amount of work. I do think he is better than the 6-cost version at this point. The ability to stand himself like multiple times is just too good. Not to mention the utility, like right there, the ability to, kneel that silence that he stole was extremely powerful. That was very important. Another thing that I could do is Valar Morghulis and hope that he doesn't have Risen from the Sea. He only has 2 cards. But I don't think it's that great of an idea. It feels a bit too early to do that. I could also do Force March. That's very tempting. Let's see here. Silence is not actually doing anything for me on my side of the board. It's just a big warship that doesn't actually have anything else to put in play. If I had something I could put in play with it, I might do this. So instead, I'm going to do Force March. So, Neil, you're on. Oh, he did his version of it to take it back again. Okay. I should have seen that coming. So it's a good thing I didn't do We Take Westeros. He won initiative by having... I guess he won on a coin flip. Yeah, of course, there's a coin flip and he won. That's guaranteed. Because I have the worst luck. And he stole this. So if I had flipped We Take Westeros, I would have had to put like a scouting vessel from his side, which would be terrible. So it's very good that I did not try to do that. Okay, now what do we do? I could marshal Balon. I guess Balon's pretty good. I think Balon's the right choice here. Let's do it. And now because Balon has pillage, I can use his scouting vessel if I put it in play. I don't know if that even really accomplishes anything, but I do have the ability to do it. Now, if it's possible here, I want him to have more power than me at the end of this turn so that I will win initiative when he does Force March. What did he just do? Oh, why cancel that? Yeah, no Drown God Fanatic, buddy. Yeah, of course, he also has another Drown God to cancel mine. That was guaranteed to happen. But I don't think it's going to be possible for him to have more power than me. Let me see. What happens if I lose this? Well, I already didn't defend it. If he has, we don't, so there's nothing I can do. Got my Risen. Damn. Another thing that I realize about this card's silence, you cannot actually use this to stand Euron if you do not have a warship location in your hand to put into play with it, because it's a then effect. So if this last card in his hand is not a warship, which it probably is not, he can't actually even use this, which is pretty good. That was something that I realized very quickly when I was playing with it. Okay, so I could end the turn here to win initiative when he does Force March next turn. But I don't know if that's really worth it. To not do any challenges just because of that when I could do 2 challenges and like get renown and stuff, it's probably not worth it. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do some challenges. And so I could either take his scouting vessel here, or I could hope that Balon pillages something else that's worth taking. Which I think the odds of that are pretty low, so I'm just going to go ahead and take the scouting vessel. Because the scouting vessel will then make it pillage 3, and that makes it a lot more likely to put stuff in his discard that Balon can take next turn that will be useful, like if I put an Asha in there or something. Yeah, like Gwyndass, that's pretty good. I also misplayed that a little bit, I think. Oh, what am I doing? Yeah, I should have done that earlier in the turn, and then I could have knelt the scouting vessel to give Victarion an extra renown. I forgot to do that. Epic misplay. Oh, I forgot to give him renown just then as well. Oh well. Damn, so if I still had Risen from the Sea in my hand, I would definitely do Valor Morghulis here. I don't think it's really worth it, though. Definitely not when I have another Force March to just stall. Just stall for more time. Actually, let's see. He's probably going to play his Forced March. Surely that's going to be his plot. Is there anything else I can do that's worth it? There really isn't, is the problem. We take Westeros, still does not have... I mean, taking that Hulk out of his side is decent, I guess. That's not really worth it. Let's just go for it. Oh, he didn't do it. That's good. Do I want to go first? I don't know. Nah, he can go first. Alright, let's see what he got. Another big character, surely. Aw, he has the Intimidate Victarion. That sucks. That's okay, though, because we had the big Victarion. No, don't use these. This is too much stuff. He knelt my Seabish. That's very rude. Now, who do I marshal? Triss Botley can take out some decent cards, but I don't know if that's really worth it. Probably these Marauders is what I want to do. And I can target a Scouting Vessel to take Risen from the Sea out of his hand. That's probably what I want. Yeah, I don't have any Intrigue icons, so let's do that. Got it. Now, I think I just pass, right? Yeah. Okay, so he used Counting Coppers. We took away all his saves, but he has duplicate, so that's bad. So Valor Morghulis still not viable. Sad times. Oh, he took my We Do Not Sow? That's mean. Power Challenge Strength 8. Well, I don't feel like losing that, so I will not lose it. I'm going to remember to give him Renown this time. Nice, he got an Intrigue icon. Oh, that guy's annoying. Oh, he did a military. Why would you do that? That's not very smart. I'll be taking that save off of your hands. Oh, he gave up. Oh, no. He realized that he messed up. He was still safe from Valor Morgulis because he had a dupe and I had a dupe. It was like one dupe to one dupe. So it would not really still have been that smart for me to Valar. I don't really think he needed to give up there. I do think I had the advantage, but not by a lot. Oh well, that's enough gameplay for today. I got smoked in the first game, and then I don't think I can say I smoked this guy, but he did rage quit, so I guess we got him pretty good. I didn't get to use my Balon, man. I was gonna do this and take his last card with the intrigue. He was gonna get got. Alright, I'm back. I'm playing again. Glad to be playing again. Even though I got smacked in that first game, you can still see I'm not that upset. I'm pretty happy. I'm just happy to be playing. I lost that game fair and square. That dude had good draws. I had bad draws. My luck screwed me over. It happens. It's just part of the game, dude. It's all part of the game. Okay, that's the video.